so excited. Guess who just showed up from court?
Yes. Welcome back, everyone. This is Open Up, and we have with
The
us
Campbell of Campbell Whitten, Clayton Campbell. Jesse's been really filling us in. So glad you.
Yes.
Typical, here it's almost typical that you've been drawn away. Just tell us a bit quickly about your schedule. I mean, it sounds like you're constantly on the go.
Sometimes it can be unpredictable. You can have a hearing that's scheduled for 8:30, but there are also 20 or 30 other cases scheduled for 8:30. And you have to have the other parties present, and the attorneys have to all be in the same place at the same time. So sometimes a morning schedule can be a little bit unpredictable, but it's better to be on time.
Yes.
And be waiting for the court rather than having the court wait for you.
Well, listen, I know we're going to have you back because you've got a lot to say. But at the break, Jesse, what we were left with was the incredible unreliability of eyewitness testimony. Speak to that.
Oh, yes. Eyewitness testimony, when we're talking about identifying a stranger, can be very unreliable. There are studies, numerous studies, thousands of studies, in fact, on this very topic. And the universal conclusion of these studies is that when a person is identifying a stranger, it's very difficult to do that based on a very exciting, stressful event, such as the perpetration of a crime. So, for example, a witness to a crime or a victim of a crime observes a perpetrator commit the crime, and it's a very stressful thing. Most people aren't accustomed to seeing this happen. A lot of times there are weapons involved or something like that where people are very emotionally excited and terrified. And so that is not the best state of mind for recording a memory, especially about details. The other thing is that there are people do look alike. There are a lot of people that look alike. I mean, we've all had people tell us, do you look, has anybody ever told you look like so-and-so? In fact, yesterday someone said to Jesse, has anyone ever told you look like Ben Affleck? I thought that was you.
So how's the divorce going?
But people get compared to celebrities that they might slightly resemble.
Yes.
There was a thing on Facebook. Change your profile picture to the picture of the celebrity that resembles you most, or whatever. That was a thing.
Yes.
So there are, and we've all recognized that there are some kind of common types of faces, and so these things all kind of conspire to create an environment where it's difficult to identify someone. And then the method that we use to recall that memory. There are scientific ways to ensure or at least promote a more reliable recollection. And not all police agencies use those methods. These methods have been developed by the Department of Justice of the United States in conjunction with the FBI, the National Association of Chiefs of Police. So we're not talking about some kind of biased defense attorney, voodoo here. We're talking about scientific studies conducted by law enforcement, and they've established guidelines for procedures for police to use. And what we normally get is we have police officers who don't have adequate training in this field. No police officer wants to get the wrong person, but everybody wants to be right. And so a lot of times what happens is a police officer, they have so many cases they're handling, they get a call about a crime that is very significant to the victim of that crime, but in comparison with some of the other cases the officer is working, it may not be the highest priority, but they still have to work the case. So they will sometimes do a rather sloppy job of following up on the investigation. And so, for example, you'll get an officer who's supposed to investigate a mugging that took place. I had a case not long ago where someone had his property stolen in a park, basically on a threat. Someone went up to another guy and said, give me your phone, and then shook his fist at him. It was not an armed robbery. It was nothing like that. But he didn't want to get beat up, so he handed over his phone. Well, the police had no idea who this was. They had a very vague description. And then the mother of the victim started asking kids at school who they thought could have done it. And so she gets this tip from somebody at school, well, this one guy that we know, he's kind of like that. Right? So she tells the officer, I think it was this guy. And so based on this very, very flimsy information, the officer puts together a photo lineup and then goes and interrogates the witness. Now, the photo lineup doesn't show you how tall people are, et cetera. And that, they said that the guy that committed the crime was over 6 feet tall. My client was like 5'4". But he's in this lineup, and you can't tell how tall he is. And he is the one whose photograph most resembles the description. So that when they put together this lineup, it wasn't exactly the most fair lineup. And then the officer who showed the lineup to the victim was the same officer who assembled the lineup. And so we have these procedures that have been established to help guarantee, or not guarantee, but at least make it more likely that we're going to have an accurate identification. And those procedures include a fair lineup where you have comparable photographs
Right.
of people who fit the same description that are shown to a witness by an officer who doesn't know who the suspect is. Because no matter how well-meaning the officer is, we all give these cues. No matter how cool we think we are, we don't have the greatest poker face. And
I think the placebo is a good example of that.
Yes, they've established this with medical testing. So, for example, they'll have a pharmaceutical company testing a new drug. So they'll have several subjects who volunteer to have this drug tested on them, and they show up. And in order to weed out the false reports of progress, they will give a placebo, a sugar pill, to a certain number of the participants, and then they ask them, how they feel or what,
Right, right.
and they follow up. So they have discovered that those studies are skewed when the person who hands out the pills knows which pill is medicine and which pill is sugar. Even if they're trying to have a very objective study, and if they know when they hand the pill to the patient or to the test subject, somehow there's a nonverbal cue that they give that can skew the results.
That they're not even aware of giving.
Unintentional. It's
Right.
not like
They're
they're
not
shaking their
trying
head,
to-
when they hand them the placebo.
Right, but there's just something about the body language that
Wow.
that people can read. They pick up on it, and it actually skews the test. So one of the recommendations from the National Association of Chiefs of Police and the United States Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation is that when an officer presents a set of photos to a witness in order to identify the perpetrator of a crime, it should not be an officer who knows who the suspect is. Now, normally, it's not like we have a whole bunch of possible suspects. They go to a computer and they say, oh, the guy is a white male. He's approximately 40 years old.
2 minutes
and,
we get.
Okay, and then the computer will spit out a series of photographs that match that description. So and they draw them from these databases of millions of people that aren't even possibly involved. And then they have the one guy they think is the suspect, and then they put him into the lineup. So when you need to make sure that those are accurate photos, and then the guy that is showing the photos to the witness shouldn't know which one is the suspect. That way they
Right.
can't
'Cause if
accidentally tip off the witness who they're supposed to pick.
If they pick the suspect that the officer put in there, they're basically proving the officer's hunch or investigation or anything right, because the officer put that in there for a reason. We think this may be the guy, and so it helps their prosecution if the victim chooses the person that they put in there as the suspect.
Let's put up Campbell Witten. If you're out there and suddenly the red light goes on behind you and you find, holy cow, I need an attorney to help me in this. Campbell Witten right there, campbellwitten.com. There's the number, 334-3000. They're in that office building, brick office building, right across from the Nile Theater.
The Kern Land Building.
Kern Land
Oh.
Building, yep.
Across
yep.
the Padre, too.
Yeah.
Padre, okay.
Right in between the Padre and the Fox Theater.
Oh,
Well,
excellent.
Clayton, we got to have you back. Jesse did a great job filling in for
Yes.
you,
Sure
but I
did.
know you've got a lot to share here.
I could talk for hours about these things.
Well, and we're going to let you.
Excellent.
We're going to let you. So we'll have you back. Tina, you're looking like an attorney. You should have studied
Don.
for law school.
I should
someday.
have.
All right.
What do you have to say to our viewing audience?
I just say stay strong. Stay strong, everybody.
Until next time.
Thursdays at 10 a.m. on Bakersfield.com, you'll find your favorite pair on the air. Don Clark and Tina Miller host Open Up, a show devoted to getting inside the real stories about real people. From community leaders to small businesses, Open Up is your forum to tell it like it is. It's Open Up with Don and Tina.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet! You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Bakersfield.com is your home for live local sports in high definition. And this week, it's Golden West College out of Huntington Beach. They might have the beautiful coastline, but we've got hard, local-grown football players who intend to put a smackdown on the Rustlers. Don't miss a single play on Bakersfield.com, your home for local sports in high definition. Go Gades!
Introducing a new way to get the news. The Bakersfield Californian e-edition. It's not a website, it's the actual Bakersfield Californian right on your tablet computer, laptop, even your smartphone. All the news, features, pictures, and ads you're used to right at your fingertips. Now you can get the Californian on your schedule, anytime, anywhere, anyplace. Get your new Bakersfield Californian e-edition today. Visit eedition.bakersfield.com.
The new book is out. That was easy. I would title this thing sort of a description of what raising children is like. You know, that was easy. I've been writing columns now for about 25 years. Writing has always been a conversation. You're taking somebody by the hand for 3 or 4 minutes and you're not letting go. The new book, That Was Easy. Nothing easy about any of this, but we've had some fun and I hope you guys will have some fun looking at this book.